Good morning, traders. Welcome to the daily webinar. We're in the trading room. Yesterday we left and we put on a lot of trades. We expect them to happen. They work and they're reversing. We expect that to happen as well. So for my YouTube viewers, I will be putting out this webinar for you today because it's a change in direction that we're looking for. And I think you might want to know that. It might help you. Most of the patterns we're looking at Monday have already completed themselves. And I think there's a good chance we'll be going in the opposite direction. So hope that is going to help you. Let's go. Let's start. So dollar index. Dollar index, we wanted it to come and break this low. If you remember what I was telling you, it's going to drop to break this low, which happened. Now, breaking the low itself is not the end of the structure. That's just the minimum requirement for this pattern to say, okay, this is the pattern we're looking at because it looks like a WXYXZ. Now that has to confirm itself. What do I mean by that? It has to go back up and break this top, right? So remember we said this could have gone and break the top, but since this went with more corrective, we assume that, well, this pattern doesn't have another corrective structure in it. If this pattern is going to become more corrective, it will become a different pattern with a more complex structure of it, right? So what could happen in that case? This one could come lower here, go back up there, and then we're going to have something like this, where it drops here, go back there, come here, and now you have just the same structure, but a longer drawn out corrective structure. That's all to it. It is still corrective at this moment. Can this pattern become the start of the downside? That is possible if you look at it this way. If you say, well, what if this was the first impulse and this was the next impulse? And this was a 1, 2, 3 within that structure. Well, then this could drop through the bottom. So far, we're not looking at that for many, many reasons, and I'm not going to go through all those reasons here. We're looking at it mostly that it's going to go up. Now, what do we wait for? Now that you have the analysis, that doesn't mean you jump into buy immediately. You wait for the confirmation that it's going to go up. And I think we're getting a confirmation here. You can see we're getting a flag for a buy here, right? That's a buy setup. Now, this buy setup is within this impulse. My traders, note, it's not a very sharp impulse, which means when it comes up here, you have to get that to break even if they're going to drop. This is still, as far as we're concerned, that is still within the corrective structure, right? So it can drop. Don't take for granted that this thing is going to go back up. It broke the low. That doesn't mean it can make one more, make one more, make one more, and then go. So we will still take the trade. By all means, we'll take this trade, but we're going to manage it. This is where trade management will come in very seriously, right? So we're going to put our entry for this trade. I think we could take it on the 15. That'll give you an advantage. Put it above this one. Put the entry here. And look for buy setups. We will manage this trade because this could still be a flat. If you're watching me on YouTube, depending on when you watch this, you might see it do this and come back here. That means we're out of the trade. You might see it do this and continue to go. We're still in the trade, right? That is what we call trade management. When you take a trade and it's not going your way, your job is to manage it. These were sells yesterday. So I'm going to show you all the trades for the sells and the buys yesterday. Silver buy, right? So the silver, we looked at this. We had two options. This is a running flat. Put your entry above that consolidation there for the buy. If it comes back here and go back up, we would have been selling it. Well, it didn't come back. It didn't go. And this arrow is showing you from where it should drop after we complete that pattern, which is after you break that top, this should come back to this level. We're expecting it to come back here. Now, it doesn't have to come immediately. Again, the same thing. They can actually make a few more like this and then come back here. This would be a long, drawn-out running flat. And then we will see what happens with that. It has to go back up, come back down, go back up. If this happens, eventually it can drop. It will drop eventually because it's corrective in nature. So if dollar index is to prolong that correction up and down more, which is possible, looking at silver, that is a possibility. It doesn't necessarily mean they're going to do the same thing, but it's possible. So keep that in mind. We're looking for sell setups on this one this morning. Some of us might already be in the sell. Some of us might be waiting for the sell setup. Let's see. It's coming down. I like the fact that we didn't go back to the top, right? We're pretty much in the lower thing. If you got in the trade here, it's okay. It's going really slow. So assume that it could make a bigger flat. If they keep going slow like this, we'll get a pullback. We'll get a 1, 2, 3 running flat and then drop. But as of now, the trade is valid if you're in already. If you're not in, use the low. I'll take this off. That's a break of the top. use the low to go in. It's coming down slow. So I'll probably not just watch this here in here. When it starts to make, you know the rules. If it starts to make a consolidation in here, expect them to come here, go back up, make a running flat, and then drop. Pretty much like this running flat here. Remember when we had that, we said, okay, watch it when it goes there. It could come back here and then go. So the same thing. It's making this here. Watch it. I think it's going to come. If you're in the trade, that is for you to get break even and then retake the trade. Gold. Okay, gold was a buy, literally. But I didn't think gold was going to go there immediately. My thought process was gold would probably come here, come back here, and then go. Right? Because this one looks really sharp for that. But I guess the news has some influence in it. We'll have to relook at how we look at this, whether we're going to put anything with it or whether this is just a squeeze, an ABC squeeze, where this takes off. Expect sell-off. And did we break the top we're looking to break? Gold needed to go break that top. No, sorry, gold didn't need to break that. Gold need to break this top, and they already broke it. So now gold is pretty high. Let's look back at this. Let me take these two out. Because now that it is that high, it has become interesting whether this is part of that impulse, right? Rather than this impulse being that, this could be a contracting flat in here. This could be a 1, 2, 3 for a contracting flat. We spoke about that because we did break this low. Because this is so high, we would either look at it as an expanding flat coming down, or we can look at it as a 1, 2, 3, which means you can even go a little higher, break that up, and then come back down. Do we look at this as the start of the entire moves to the upside? I think that is far stretched. We didn't even break this low. I didn't think we broke that low. Let me see. We broke this low here, but I didn't think we break there. We didn't break this low. So all of this is still within consolidation. Everything that has happened there is consolidation until we break that up, and or contracting flat. So there's a chance we're going to get more upside. The same thing with the New Zealand and everything. Keep your eyes on them. There's a chance they're going to make at least 1 or 2 more moves before they come. This one could come, it's coming down and it probably will start to drop. Then we will consider that we're coming down totally, right? But if it stops short, start to go back up, we'll buy it. We'll buy this to retest that up, right? So let's go in the 1 hour, make it bigger. It's not coming down. This one, unlike the silver, it doesn't have that quick drop. It has a really small one, pull back, you have a flat here. This one will probably tag the low. I really don't like this sell here, although it's a very, they will correct a lot of this. So yeah, take the sell. And let's see how far they correct. If they go really slow, get the hell out of it because it's likely going to go back up. We might be looking at the second flat using this impulse for the flat, not this one. So we'll see which one they give us. This one actually went up. We were hoping this would drop. It went up. So it just became a bigger correction. Take this off. We didn't get in that trade. And well, it's still a correction. I still look for sell setups. Euro needed to break that up, and we kind of break it. We tag it slightly. I think we literally just tagged it. We were expecting this. And if you were following me from Monday, you know we said this is going to go break the top, election or no election. And that is what I explained to my traders in the room yesterday before the election. Election or no election, this trade is going to go up because that's what they're telling us they're going to do. And I don't see them doing anything else. We had a perfect flag. We had a good buy set up. It actually went. Now this is looking not so downside. See that? It's going to come here, but it's looking more like a flat for 1 more up. I wouldn't be surprised because they barely broke that top. Sometimes they go a little higher and then come down. So I think we can expect euro to make another move up. This is the big structure I showed you in euro. And the probability for the downside is much higher because this looks like a flat, right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So at this point, if they go back up and they keep going, we will keep buying. If we see the turn, we will sell it back to retest this low. So if you're with us in our trading room, you can either get this trade or you can either get that trade. Number of trades. And that is why you may want to consider joining us, right? So at this point, I think I could tell you how you join us very quick. We have an upcoming training course starting Monday. A lot of people have joined that already. If you would like to join that, send me a Skype message. The Skype is in the description below. Go in the description. Check it. If you don't, too lazy to go in the description, it's MANGAL 457. Send me a message. Say hi. I'm interested in the course, and I would send you all the details and how you can get. Now, if you cannot pay for the course, which might be a little above your budget, you can join us as an installment trader. What that means? That means you will pay for the course, but in installments. And while you're paying, we will allow you to access the trading room with us twice daily, which is in the New York session, which is in the London session. So London, 7:45 a.m. London, before 15 minutes before the market open, you can join us live, watch the trades we take. Same thing for New York, 7:45 a.m. New York time. You get to watch us live trade. Literally, you come and trade, because this recording I'm doing now is before that. You will also get this recording, but you will get a recording, not the live session. So you can watch this recording for everything, and then you can join us to have the live trades while we're trading. So go back to the euro. Looking at the euro right now, it's kind of consolidating for downside. There's a downside move here coming, but the depth of this pullback is a little, yep. There's a trader, I think we can take it to break this low. I think we should take it here too. My traders try to get it from there to break the low. And then if it keeps dropping, good for us. But if it stops short somewhere here, like 1, 2, 3, and decide to go back up, we'll get out. We'll look for the buy setup. It could go one more. New Zealand so far, I think silver so far is the only one that has a deep away from this. This is a very big one. Let's see, euro, pound. Pound also could pound is looking very nice for downside. The consolidation is not going back up very big. That's a sell setup. Go for it. This was a buy yesterday. We still have to break this top. So even though you're getting a correction, it might just be a deep correction. We still haven't broken the top. So this was a good trade. I hope you closed it there. Look for this trade coming down. It could probably go back up more. This one was deep. I don't see any problem with this coming deep and then going back up there. So we can get a sell setup. We'll take the sell. We'll manage it. Hope it comes deeper so we get some trades before it goes back up. If this climb up, by the way, if this keeps climbing up here in a correction like this and get to the top, don't sell it. Wait for it to come here. We'll buy it. So today we're either going to get a sell or a buy, depending on how the correction behaves, how the depth of the correction. Aussie is definitely a sell. We broke the top. The impulse is huge. You can put a sell here even if you want, right? Better to sell it a little lower, but you can take that chance. If we get it inside, should we take it? No, I don't think we should take it inside. This is starting to look corrective. Go here. We understand. This is really good, and we're in the lower half of it, which is very good for us, right? And we broke the top, exactly what we wanted to do. We want this to go break the top. It went slow. Good. Okay. We can live with that, right? We saw it. We can live with it. And now we're looking for the downside. What the downside says? Downside says come back and break this low. Now, we're not sure it's going to break the low, right? Because they can literally just do this and go back up one more, do this and go back up one more. Right? We don't know when this is going to drop, but very likely it's going to drop. It's just a matter of how long it's going to consolidate. We will take every sell setup we get. As a rule, we will take every sell setup we get. We have a sell setup, we'll take that trade. Just like we took every buy we had here. So once the top is broken, you start looking for the sell setups. Okay, if you guys want to take it more aggressive, you can do that, but you have to manage it. For the general public, I'll put the entry here, right? There is a chance you can get it more aggressive, but be careful because this can go up higher, see? And if it climbs back to the top, the same thing as the pound, we'll look for the buy setup. It is still going to come for the C wave, but we look for the buy setup. New Zealand is amazing. This is the best one so far because you have a running flat that is looking downside. This was the buy yesterday, by the way. This was the buy entry we put on before this happened in the news. Well, I don't know if it's the news or they just moved the market. For me, they just moved the market. We saw this. We have this flat. You can look at the patterns. So we showed you those patterns. We got a running flat. We saw this, put the entry, bingo. Now we're looking for the sell setup. This is the best sell setup we have. Put your entry here, put your stop here, go for this trade. This is the best one. It's a running flat and it's a running flat looking downwards. We're not coming back to that top. That doesn't mean that it can go back up, but that means that the probability for downside is much, much, much higher. And this pattern has completed itself, right? Literally. Now, the only thing you'd be worried about, well, we don't have to worry about it. The only thing that could happen if everything is going to consolidate and go back up is New Zealand could end up dropping all the way here. And we repeat one of these running flats, right? We kind of go back up. Everything goes up as impulse. We go up as correction. We drop again. We could repeat this for a number of times and then eventually drop. But this is very, very, very corrective. Right? I don't see the impulse going up like that. So this trade is amazing. This trade is a must trade. Put your entry order on. Let's go. Swiss. Yeah, Swiss dropped as well. Swiss is the one that I said some of them stopped exactly where I put the arrow, right? So I put the arrow on the Swiss here yesterday. It did go up first. We were expecting this to drop through, right? Because we're looking at 1, 2, 3. It went back, it made this one. So your entry would still be here. This is exactly where your entry would be, right? If this is exactly where your entry is going to be. I know, I think it was already going up when we put that because we were looking at this flat and you take it under the last impulse. And that actually dropped exactly to where the arrow is. Just stop and start to correct. Now that's just coincidental. That has nothing to do with anything. It's not magical. It's just coincidental. But it's a beautiful coincidence. It stopped exactly where you want. Now we have one up. We're getting 1, 2, 3. I'll go contracting flat if this break the top. It should break the top, right? So we'll go contracting flat with this piece here. Break the top, look for the sell setup. Now this is going upwards. Can this go up all the way to the top? It could. We didn't break this low, right? This one here didn't break the low. It's not contracting, actually, it's a regular flat. Sorry, my bad. I thought this was higher. It's actually lower. So you have a flat in the middle. But because we have such a big flat that is way at the bottom here, you have to ask yourself whether this would break the top and keep going or whether it's just going to break this top and come down back. So if you want to trade it to the upside, this is a trade. If this goes, once it breaks the top, you have to get it to break even because the flat is huge at the bottom and there's a chance it can drop. Right, one more. And there's a few of them that shows us that there's probably one more down, right? So this one is showing us that there's a potential for one more down, right? Pretty similar to this flat. So we always think when we see that, we think flat, one more down. So I wouldn't be surprised if they go down more and everything else go up. So the only trade you probably get some profit on probably is New Zealand. At the deeper the downside, you might get some profit before they go back up. So let's see. But this does have one more move up, right? It has to come and break this top at least. I don't expect them to stay in this consolidation. And if they stay here, we're not selling this until they break the top. Contracting flat, we'll relook at it as a contracting flat. If it becomes a contracting flat from here, like this, then we would have to let it break the low, make a flag, and then sell. Now, if you're watching me on YouTube, have never seen any of my videos, you don't understand what I'm doing here and what is all this nonsense about going up, coming down, and all these arrows and line and all of that. You may want to watch some more of my videos to understand the method we're using, and it's called wave analysis. And it works perfect 90% of the time, as you can see, right? These are not things that are putting their hindsight, right? I have traders in the room now witnessing what I'm doing. I can't go tell a lie to them, hey, I just put on this arrow, but we were looking for upside, right? They're here to witness that arrow was there yesterday because they were in the room when I did it. This is no hindsight business. We don't do that stuff. This one was here also for that sell. Drop, you should have taken your profit here. Go back up. I would definitely, that drop in the news, you grab all you can. Maybe you would even grab the profit in here, and I'm okay with that if you grab your profit here. But the best place is when it does, there's not the pullback, when it started consolidation, right? So the pullback is not where you take your profit. You take your profit here because this means it can go up, and you'll also would have had an entry order there, right? When you take the profit, you would have had an entry order there. Why? Well, if it dropped again, what happened? You're right back in the trade. So now this one is totally giving us some trouble because it's incomplete. You have this wave, you have this, and you're getting a correction here. Not good. But we had the same thing here. We had this, and we had some correction here. And we dropped, made correction, drop. What if we're now doing these waves, right? So let's say this one was an equivalent of this, right? So this did a correction, drop, did a correction, did this. So this was the corrective structure. You get this, and you get this. That is a long drawn out running flat. That is possible. Then this would literally drop. Would not get a bigger flat in here. If that is not so, then this would become a bigger flat. So here's what we can do. We would sell this with the intention that it's going to come here and go back up and then drop. That's the intention. Keep your stop here. We'll double the risk, keep stop there. Or we'll get out of this trade and think. But if this drop, we're going to put this as the running flat. So that's the only reason we'll take it, because potentially it could be that running flat, because we never got anything for this one. Where is my dollar yen? I've been waiting for that trade for a while. Where is, oh, it's here. Come, bring it down back. Yen is the most interesting one because you should have sold yen. There's no question, right? We're selling yen. You sell that, whether you sell it here or whether you sell it here. I think it was here when already. And take your profit. We just broke the low, but we're in some kind of an expansion or reversal. So this could reverse. If it's reversed, where is it going to go? Let's assume, remember we said this could be a contracting flat. It could also be a running flat. All contracting flats in the future can be running flats. We don't know that. So if it is a running flat, by all means, this is going to go right back to the top here and then drop. So this thing will drop. The question is, from where is it going to drop? We're going to go back there for a running flat like this, right? With this being a 1, 2, 3. That is possible. And this would be a flat in the middle here. Or this is the flat, contracting flat, and this one is going to drop. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to put an entry order here now. We're going to put an entry order for a seller, assuming that that is some kind of an expansion. Put an entry order here. Now the expansion has enough pieces in it. I think it does have a lot of pieces in it. Let me see. It's not really looking like an expansion. You have this one up. You have a 1, 2, 3 down. You have that up. That's a perfect expanding flat. You have this down, and this is really sharp. It's not a 1, 2, 3 down. It's sharp. And we broke the low. See, it's sharp and you broke the low. So if this starts going back really fast above that and make a flat, we'll definitely be going up totally. But for now, we can leave the entry order here because this is sharp and this could be a pullback that drops. So eventually this would be all the correction. And that's enough of the correction. So the entry order goes here. If this drops, we're in the trade. If this goes back up, make a flag, we start looking for buy setups. Pound yen, sorry. I think we're going to have a big flat here. You can already see the consolidation here forming, which means this is going to be some kind of a 1, 2, 3, go back up there, make a flat, come back here, make a flat, go there. So you want to trade in that, you can do it. I think you can do it. You don't need me to do it, basically, right? You can take the little pieces off very quickly. Swiss yen. We expect this to go break the top. Didn't break the top. It's coming down. So running flat. We'll have to go with a running flat here. It did break the low. So if it doesn't go back, then we'll treat this as a running flat for this piece. So we've got to move down. 1, 2, 3. We got this move up. So you get 1, 2, 3 down. You go back there. That is the running flat. And this is coming down now. We're expecting a little more up. That's okay. It doesn't have to be that little more up, right? The little more means this would have been equal to that one. They don't have to be equal by rule. There's no rule that says they have to be equal, right? So we'll assume that we're coming down. That's a sell setup. Take this off. And this is the sell setup. Whether it's the yen or the Swiss, either doesn't matter. This is a sell setup. Let it consolidate, go for the sell. Look at it on the, I think it's still not ready. It's kind of consolidating very slow. Keep a stop above the top, put an entry here. If it tags you and stay here for a while, close it, right? We keep it under the low. It's going downwards like this. So they can tag you here and stay here for a while like this, close it. We'll come back to that. New Zealand yen. Okay, New Zealand yen just made a flat. This was a buy, by the way. It actually went, but didn't go all the way. So worst case here is break even. If you took profit, good. I probably wouldn't have taken profit in this. We'd probably put it at break even because we were expecting bigger move up. So honestly, this would have been a break even trade. If we were in it, then we were in the trade. So did we break the top? No, we didn't. So we're left with this now, right? We're coming down with this. So are we still in some kind of a bigger flat here? Probably. We'll have to relook at this as some kind of a 1, 2, 3 expansion. Maybe this piece here is an expanding flat within that structure, right? Like this piece here. You might even want to see whether you want to put this one here, right? 1, this would be 1, 2, 3, and this would be 1, 2, 3. So you have an expansion inside of the flat. And that is why we thought this one broke the top. So it could be an expansion in flat, and we're still coming down for this one here. We're coming back for this. So we're coming back here. We're going to do something like this, and then upside. Don't sell this. It's going down some more, but don't sell it. It's not potentially big move downside. Right? We don't see that coming as yet. So we'll wait in it. Carrion. It's still a buy. It's coming down really, really, really slow, but it's still a buy setup. At some point, it has to go up some more. Right? This is not dropping, so at some point, this is going to go up a little more like that, probably. Something like this. There's a trade to get, and the lower it comes, the better the trade becomes, right? The lower this thing comes like this, the more it does this, the better this trade comes to the top. You get it from here, you take that trade. Let's see. Aussie yen. Okay, I think again, we'll have to go with some kind of a flat here that is forming. We got this one, so this might be 1, 1, 2, 3. Come back here for this. We're probably coming back for this as a flat. in the middle here, somewhere here. I don't think it's finished. They could drop one more here and then go back up, but we'll ignore the sell and we look for the buy. I don't see why it's consolidated. Can it actually go back all the way to the bottom? Let's see if we have a contracting flat in here. If we get a contracting flat there, then this could literally drop back to the bottom. Let's wait. I don't like the contracting flat. I don't like the idea of this being contracting flat. I like the idea of this being a flat in here. This one is a regular flat. See that? And you get 1, 2, 3. So this 1, 2, 3 down makes sense. Even if this drop one more, it's going to be an expanding flat. That's all. So we can ignore this sell on this one for now. By the way, I forgot to change all of this. You guys will change it later. Euro Oz, the sell drop didn't go very far. That would probably have been a break-even trade. Let me see how long we have it there. Yeah, it's quite long. Yeah, it's there long enough for you to close the trade. Right? If you get it tagged with this one and it's here all the time, you probably want to get out of it, especially since we have both ways open. Right? So you get out of that one. So take this one off. That would have been off. Once this is tagged, that would have been off. Put an entry here. Let's see if we have a buy setup. Yeah, we have a buy setup. I think I know why we were looking at it. We were looking at this as a running flat. And if this had gone up, it would be the upside. But if it dropped, it would be there. But it did drop, but not far enough. We get an expanding flat. So now it's an expanding flat and it's a buy setup. Confirm expanding flat. Go for the buy setup. So now it's clear. We don't have both sides. We have a buy setup only. I'll change that to buy. I didn't change all of them. I can change them later. But this is the confirm buy setup now. It might consolidate here some more, but that's a buy. Let's go. You're in New Zealand. By the way, do we think it could come back down? I should have actually left that option open. Do we think this could come back down from where it is? It could, but I don't see that happening. So I'll go with the buy setup. You're in New Zealand. Okay, this also dropped. Tagged you. Let's see, it's there for a long time. I think there'll be more than 2 hours there at least. Yep, 1, 1, 2. Well, yeah, if you put it in the hourly, you probably took the loss. But if you traded in the 15, you got out of it. Which, if you see it stay there a whole hour, you should do. Go in the 15 and see what it's doing in the 15. And you can see this, right? That's not going. Close it. This was the lowest. 1, 2, 3, 4. Put it under the low. Right, by rule. So it doesn't matter if you go out there, well, take this as a loss if you want, if you were in the trade. I don't know if anybody take the trading. I think everybody is more focused on the majors. How would we put this? 1, 2, 3, and this down. This still hasn't got anything. No, it's going to be more like this, expanding flat. So we'll get all of these as the consolidation inside. You get 1, 1, 2, 3, because we're going up above it now. So from this point, it could either be down, one more down, because the big flat in the middle, right? There's a big flat here, so I think we're going to get one more down. With a big flat like this, can they crawl up like this slow? Yeah, they can still do that, but we need a flag here. And we need a flag you can sell for an impulse that is going to give you positive break even, right? Like big move up. None of the consolidation there has big moves in them. Those are small consolidations. Right, sorry, let me go back. Euro New Zealand, right? The consolidation here now is really small, so don't take the trade now. Wait for a bigger flat. All right, want something you can trade up and then upside. If it starts to drop, we're selling. For us to sell, it has to drop, make a flag, we sell. If this stays here as a consolidation more like this, we'll buy it. That'll take a couple hours. Euro yen. All the yen pairs that drop would either be small losses or break even. This one doesn't have break even. This would be a loss. If anybody took it and got it, you'll have to take off the trade. Well, you're probably still in the trade. You may want to close it here. Right? By rule, your stop is here. So you're still in the trade. Let this drop some more, close the trade because it's going to go up. Right? Again, it turned out we might be looking at some kind of a bigger flat pattern making here. So if you're still in this, you get a chance to get out for a little less, let it come back, close it, or take the loss. I think this would drop a little more. This would probably drop here and then go back up. We'll see some kind of a flat forming here. So let's wait. EuroCAD. This didn't break, so that's good. Take this off. This didn't break out. We're going up, so wait for this consolidate buy. We thought we'd get a deeper downside, but wait for this. Let's see. If it makes a flat here, come back here, we're buying. right? Can we sell it for the downside? Is it now they're going to make the deeper correction? Let's see. This one came back to the top. So this one didn't go back to the top. This was very sharp, but I went back to the top. So I don't think there's a trade there. We wait. I don't like that trade there. So take it off. Let's see. Euro Swiss. I should have changed all of those. I forget to change them. We'll change them afterwards. Let's go. Euro Swiss, we were looking for the downside. Didn't happen. Wait. It's going back up. Probably one more high, and then we get a downside. Let's see what it looks like. Yeah, it's going to come. It's just a matter of whether they're going to make this flat one more up and then goes, which is what I think they're doing. They're kind of making a flat here. And this is going to go up slowly, but it has to come back. This structurally is not upside. Right, so just wait for the sell setup. We don't have a sell setup. Let it break the top first, drop, make a flag, and then we go for the sell. Euro pound. This could have tagged you also. And this probably what you're still in the trade because your stop is here. You want to close the trade as soon as it come back here. So you have your stop is here, you got tagged here. This go up, come back, it's coming down here, somewhere here, close the trade. I don't think we're going to get back to this one. Right, they'll probably do this, go back up there, make a flat here, come back here, make another big flat, and then do this again. Right, so you get a flat here, go back up, and then drop. So we're just going to be in a big sideways move, and that just give you a chance to come out for less. So this would be the first impulse up. This is an impulse down. This is an impulse up. So this correction is going to work its way down back to the bottom here. That will be your exit strategy. Go back up, come back down here. Don't wait for the second downside. Go back up and then drop. So we're going to have a big flat here within this one. But you can close it for less than half of what you're risking. If you had all those trades on yesterday, you did excellent. I don't think you did all of the trades. So some of those trades, nobody took them. This would be a sell setup. As long as it doesn't go higher than it is right now. If it goes any way higher, we'll not take the trade. But if it doesn't go higher, it can come down back and we'll see what happens at that point, right? We can expect this to come back now. It's going up really slow. Even if they just drop, I don't know, something like this and decide to go back up, we'll try to get out of the trade. But I think it's going to drop. Pound New Zealand, let's see. Okay, this didn't break, take it off. It's going up, but that's not the trade anymore. Wait for a flag. Right, the way it's going up, it's really slow. So wait for this to make a flag somewhere here. And then we'll take the flags rather than take this bigger correction. If it becomes a bigger correction, we'll change it. Pause. This didn't go. Same thing. If you're taking this trade, you probably want to take it from the bottom. They're making a flat here. You can take this one. We'll take this flat. This move is going up really slow. So this might just do this and come back here. See? So if you're taking that trade, be aware that it might not go very far. And it might start to come back here, bigger flat before we go. Okay, this was a good flat, and you're getting a flat inside here. So that means we're making a bigger corrective structure. Pound CAD, same thing. Let it go up a little, take it off, break even. Now you probably close it here, break even, but take it off, break even, and it's making a bigger flat. This would be the first impulse down. This would be 1, 1, 2, 3. You might even get, come here. So take this off, it goes a little more, come back here, goes there, come back here, you get a bigger flat, and then upside. Let's go. Aussie, New Zealand. It's coming up, it has to go a little higher. It has to come to about this level. And then you look for this as a possibility for downside. Aussie CAD. Okay, so we're not breaking up, we're coming back down. That's good. We're making a big, huge flat there. So it's coming back down, we'll sell it. We're breaking out of this. And we're making a flag here for downside. Well, it's going to go back up a little more. This is going to come here. I think it's going to go back a little more like this. You can see this is corrective, this is corrective. Do this and then drop. Put an entry order here. If I'm wrong, they're going to drop right now. So we put a sell here. Put a stop here, and we're waiting for this trade. That's a sell. I should have put a sell, yes. It's Aussie Swiss. Aussie Swiss is coming down, but it's coming down from the top. So no sell, pull the sell. It's going to go lower, but it's not going to go where we want it to go. It's going to be a big flat like this one is. It's going to be a 1, 2, 3. So you have 1, you have 2, you're going to get 3 here, stop here, and then go right back up. We look for the buy setup. Let it come down, and then we look for the buy setup. New Zealand Swiss. Pull the sell. It went back to the top. Every time they go back to the top, think big flat. So they're coming back here. They'll probably break through this, come back here, and then upside. Right? That's just a big, huge flat we got there. We did break the top, but it probably will be running flat. No, we didn't break the top. Sorry. This is another one. We didn't break the top, so that would be just a regular flat. Just wait. You had one like that already, so we can see how they look. Got this. You got this. Go up. You're repeating the same thing. You're going to go back up, and then we'll start to get a channel forming here. What would that channel tell us? That channel should tell us downside. Yeah, when that starts to happen, I think we'll get downside. I'm starting to make a lot of those flats. Let's see. New Zealand CAD. Still downside, but in a flat possibility. This is still downside, but you're going with a flat here. So we're going to come back to this low. That means you have a sell. If we get the flag here, we take the sell. If we get a flag here, we'll take this sell back to the low. 1, 2, 3, and then upside. So there will be a trade here. Wait for a flag, sell it. I would wait for a flag sell. We'll have to correct all of these. Again, I just keep repeating it, but I forget to do it. Sell setup is still valid. And this one is sell setup is still. Keep it under the low. If you're tagged already, just keep it. But if not, keep it under the low. It looks like they can make more correction here, but it's still a valid sell. It's not going up. It's just consolidating for the downside. I'd keep it here. They're just making a bigger flat. Natural gas. Yep. We know it's going to come down back. I didn't think that much. I was thinking this much, but it did come down back very well. If you get a flag here for a buy, go for the trade. We're going back up to the top after this one. Right, so we're going back up like this, which means that somewhere here, if you get a flag, they'll go there, make a bigger one, go there, make an even bigger one, go there. Keep your eyes on it. It's upside. We're thinking upside. Wait for a buy setup. Oil. Okay, so you had the flag here for the sell. If anybody didn't remember, said only if they make a flag, then you sell. If you sold good. So this is not that running flat. Take it off, it dropped. Now we might be dropping through the structure here. So what you want now is you want this to make another flag here, a bigger one. And we're selling this back to this level before we go back up. We're looking at 1, 2, 3, and then go back up. So oil is a sell today. Wait for the correction. Same here. Wait for the correction. Sell. This is a running flat. So this will not break the low. It will come to the low. All right. This one will probably just do this. Come to the low here and then go back up. We're looking at S&P 500. Okay. This was the old sell. This never came to this level. So we're thinking big running flat now. And all this consolidation has to do with some big running flat. We did get the sharp waves inside, right? Remember the sharp drop we're looking for, this sharp drop they did give you. So now you can put that running flat. Amazing, right? How the patterns work. Put it here. So now we've got this running flat. See? Perfect. We have to go back up once. No, we have to go back up as a 3-wave structure. We have to go back up as 1, 2, 3. So you get 1. You're probably getting your 2 here. You're going to get a 3 there, and then we're going to get downside. Right, then we're coming back for this one. So if you get a buy setup here, you can take it to break that top, especially if you get it from somewhere here, to break the top, and then we're looking for the sell, make a flat, and if you make a flat, you're going to go back up. Right, so it's going to break out of the bigger daily structure. The bigger daily structure will be upside. NASDAQ, same thing. We got the sharp one, perfect. Patterns work, right? It's amazing how they do. And now you do this. Put this here. You might get a buy setup here. You might get a buy setup here. This one here. Put a buy setup to probably go back there. And then downside. This one is a little different. This one is not trying to make, we'll have to relook at this in this case. Yeah, this never broke the top. So we'll have to look at all of this as being in that correction, right? I have to look at it as being in this corrective structure. We never really broke that up. So we'll look at this as going up, doing this, going there, come back here. It will still come back down like this. But then potentially it could go there, come here, and then go. Where do we put this? Well, we'll figure out with this one, maybe. That's the closest we can get to anything. Right, so this was over there, and we're doing a bigger one here. So structurally, it's slightly different from the S&P 500, but we'll keep an eye and see how that works. US, this is even worse. This is much different than all of them. This one just broke the top, so running flat. It did come back. It's going to go back up. You're going to keep going up here a little. Right, you're going to keep going up a little, come back. It's going to come back like this, give us a running flat, and then take off. Right, so we're already going to be breaking out of the structures. This is the simplest pattern that should form. The S&P 500 have the more complex one, and the most complex one is on the NASDAQ, as far as we can see it, right? Let's see, DAX. Just leave it, let it go to the top. It's trying to get to this top. If you get a sell, it's very short. You can go for another sell. This was a sell here, this was a sell here, this would have been a sell, but they're slowly climbing there. You're not getting big trades. Same here, right? So let them get to the top and then we'll figure out the sell. Nifty, if you're buying, I hope, well, Nifty has to be a long-term one, right? You can't buy it short-term. So if you're buying these flags and you're keeping it because it moves really, with a lot of pullback. So any flat, any correction, buy again. Bitcoin. Yep, dropped totally. Broke the low. Let's see what happens now. So you can look at this too, is we totally broke the low. We can be reversing totally to the upside, and then we'll have to figure out where to put this. Which part we'll put it. Can we put it with this one? That was the one we were expecting to put it with, but it's a little slower than this. But for now, we will assume that it is that, right? Because the downside is not faster anyway. The downside doesn't make any difference with this. All right, so let's assume that this is it and it's finished. So now we're looking for upside. They broke the low. So this could be either total upside, or if it goes like this, we're going to be looking at all of this for one more down. So all depends on how this goes. Does it go fast or it goes slow? Because you have a really big flat in the middle. So if we assume that this is the flat, which the only thing we can do right now, because this drop is good and this drop is good. Look for buy setups. Wait for a flag here, buy. Do we have a flag? Let's go 1 hour. We might be getting a flag. This is a buy setup. You got a nice one here. You got a 1, 2, 3 there. They drop. You got a nice flag for me. It could stay here longer, come back here and then go, but that's your trade. That's the start of the upside. Let's go. Ethereum broke the low, right? No, didn't break the low. This one is not good. We didn't break the low. And it didn't go back to the top. So can we look at this now as this probably correction here? Which means we're still in that correction for upside. In that case, we need to break this low. And we haven't broken that low yet. So we're still in some weird corrective structure here. Even if we try to look at this as a running flat, which is possible. Let's say this one here is a running flat. But then it can go up. It doesn't need to break the low, right? If we look at the structure this way, take that as a possible running flat because we didn't go up and we're looking at this. This could totally go up. So from here, any buy setup, take the trade. We don't necessarily have to break the low in a running flat pattern, right? This is a 1, 2, 3. This is the start of the move. So this is internally, this could just go. Wait for a buy setup. Let's see, do we have a buy setup? No, we don't have a buy setup. So you wait because it can still go break the low. They don't have to, but they can do that. So any buy setup you start to form here, you have to be a really good correction. Yeah, you might be getting it under 15. You have to let it go back there, come back here. And if we get this, buy. Make sure it doesn't come back below this. Then the buy setup is going to be there. It's forming now. OMG, drop, break the low. Let's see. Break the low and then go back up. Let's see. It depends on which low you're breaking. We broke that low. We haven't broken this low yet. So can we go up from that point? Well, if you're thinking contracting flats, they can. If you're not thinking contracting flats, they can go lower. So let's see, we have any trade? Not as yet. This one actually went nice. Not as yet. We're waiting for it. It could make a flag here. There's a possibility for a flag here forming. Right? If they do this and they stay in this range, it's a flag. If they come lower here and go back up, it's a flat for one more break the low. So this can go lower. This can actually come all the way back to the bottom here and then go back up, right? Like drop here and then go back up. XRP, did we break the low? It's all about whether you broke the low and where you are. Okay, we haven't broken the low, but this could still go back up from here. Right? If you look at it like this is still within that corrective structure. So I wouldn't be surprised if they go back up like that. So this does that and then go there. You can end up going back up like this, make a bigger flat, and then drop. I don't think this is totally going up as yet because this first move up was really, really slow. Well, let's see what's happening. This is irrelevant now since you get a big flat. That is not. Now, can they also still go drop and break the low? Yeah, it's possible. I'm not expecting them to do. I expect them to go up. So let's look for buy setup because we're still within the corrective structure, which means we have to go break the top. Up, sorry. Wait for this here to start consolidating. And then go for the trade. Get the consolidation before you go. LTC. Same here. This is going back up. It did drop, but not to where we expected to drop. Let's see. I'm expecting this to drop through the bottom, actually, not go back up. So be careful because this is the one that's telling us they can consolidate here, they can drop through the bottom and then go back up, right? So we had 1, we had 2, we had 3, come here and then go back up. And dodge. Okay. The big drop means we'll retest the low. There's nothing else. There's no other reason to drop to that level if you're not retesting the low. So this was just a correction. This here was just a correction. 1, 2, 3. We'll retest this low and then the upside. So these will go back up. They just retest the low and they'll probably make another spike. Can it go lower than that too? Yes, they can always go lower. But the thing is, if you're making big flats like this, they're gonna come, go back up, make another flat, then drop, or just reversed once we break the low. So there's a lot more downside to come in this one. On the 1 hour, you can see it's just consolidating for sell. This is the only one has a consolidation more for sell. It's consolidating deep. Right, so that's more of a sell setup. ADA, drop, reverse. This doesn't need to break the low, actually. Take this off. It can go break the low, but remember this move didn't break the top. So that means we're still in some kind of a consolidation with that move there. Even if you look at these two, it's a big flat here. Then we're looking at a 1, 2, 3. Go back up to the top like this. Make a 1, 2, 3. And in that case, after you make that flat, we're coming down. So if we're making a big flat here, it's going to be more like this, not like that. It's going to be more like this. This piece here is going to go back up there. You're going to get this flat, and then you're going to drop one more, similar to this one. Right, get a flat there, and then drop one more. Let's see. Link. Break the top, come back, you have to break the low. They'll all probably go down some more because you have to break this low. Right, complete this flat. 1, 2, 3, and then we have this up move. We're going to go back up like this. And then come down back. So we're going to be stuck here for a very, very long time. This thing doesn't have any upside coming anytime soon. I don't see that coming. AMP. Okay, this one is interesting. This one is really, really low. And once this breaks the low, we start looking for buy setups. Look for buy setups because you could get a sudden spike like this. This is the spike we're looking for. See, when they broke this low and they drop here, they kind of go back up. So after all this consolidation, you broke the drop, look for a buy. This is the only one, if you get a buy setup, is worth taking. And we don't have anything. And the 1 hour, we don't have anything. That's not a buy setup. So we don't have a buy setup, so we'll have to wait. But if we see this consolidate properly around this area here, it becomes a buy setup. And let's go with the last two very quick. We broke the low. Yes, we broke the low. You can look for reversals. I think the 4 broke the low. Look for reversals. This can reverse too. So there are 2 of them that can reverse. That is this one and this one. Look for flags and then buy. Let's see this. We broke the low too. Absolutely. Well, we are close to breaking the low. We haven't broken it. So just give it some more time. Break the low, then reverse. Can it reverse without breaking the low? If we reverse without breaking the low, we'll be making this one up. We'll be doing this. Make a flat and then drop. If we break the low, we could start a big up move. So all depends on what this does. And we're not going to go through all of them. It's way too long. Let's see what this is doing. Just 3 of them remaining. This just came back down. So put it like this and just, you're still in some kind of a consolidation. It could drop, it could go back up, use less. Dash drop, broke the low, look for upside. Dash may be breaking the all-time low here. What is this? Big one. Oh, actually, it might break that low before it goes up back. It will break the low. It's about to break that low and then turn. So just a little more, break the lows, turn to the upside. Good trading would be. So guys, that's it. I would stop the recording here. Please, you guys, if I put it out on YouTube, go click the likes, click the shares. See all of you. Thank you.